And we're Bears in Excess.
I'm Eric.
I'm Christian. And this is our first The Bears in Excess show. So it's something we want to do for a long time, but we never had a chance to do because so many requests, so many things happen.
Yeah, so many things in life.
And especially our Instagram page. So now we decided to go crazy. Let's try to do. So this is our first episode. And what we have for this first episode?
We interviewed Alex Sharpe from Bear in Mind, UK.
Yes, it's a page on Instagram that talks about mental health, body positivity, things that we really believe is very close to Bears in Excess. So I thought it would be a nice way to start our show. Yeah. And also had a good talk to him. So please watch, hope you enjoy. And before you do, don't forget to subscribe, follow our channel on YouTube now. Yes. Bears in Excess there. We have Instagram, Facebook page, Facebook group, Twitter. You're all over the place.
Oh my God.
You're crazy. Oh, every FLUFFIES channel on YouTube too.
As well.
For our first ever episode of the Bears in Excess show, we thought, why not invite somebody we like a lot, somebody that runs a very nice, interesting page on Instagram. We thought, why not start with him? Yes. So please do the honors.
So this is Alex from Bear in Mind, UK.
Yes. We're doing an intercontinental chat. Hey, Alex, how are you doing?
Hi there, I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you guys?
We're good.
You're good.
How's going on there with the pandemic? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's going okay over here. We're in lockdown at the moment still. Been in lockdown now since the end of March, so yeah, it's going okay. People are behaving themselves, luckily. I'm over in...
And for those of you who are wondering, Alex comes from Scotland.
Yep.
Yeah.
In Edinburgh.
That's cool.
Yes.
And we have Nova Scotia here.
Yeah, Canada. Which is New Scotland.
Yes.
Oh, it's quite strange seeing in Canada. There's so many place names that are the same as Scotland, like Inverness and Glasgow, and
yeah.
Even for Brazilian, they have some Brazilian Portuguese names here. There are many Portuguese in Canada, so there's some Portuguese names. Even here, there's a city called Kitchener. It used to be Berlin. There is also
Paris,
London.
It's weird when they're all next to each other as well. Like Paris is next to London, which is next to Berlin.
Yeah. One weekend we did a little day trip, and at work they asked me, "Well, what did you do on the weekend?" And I said, "Oh, I went to Paris, London, Vienna."
I said, "How? I was everything next to each other."
And I'm like, "Well, look at the map. Paris, London. It's not far from here."
And Vienna is just a corner, just a crossing roads. Boom, Vienna.
Yeah.
Easy one. So tell us about yourself.
Who is Alex?
Who is Alex?
Who is Alex? I'm a bit of a boring chap in Edinburgh, so I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm a business analyst here. I'm kind of in the gay community. I've been out now for 5 years, so I came out quite late. I came out at 20. So I'm quite new. Well, I'd say quite new. It feels like an age now. It does. Yeah, there's not really much to say about me. I'm, as I say, I keep to myself. I'm a bit of a nerd, a bit introverted, but hey, I'm passionate about the things I do. Passionate about Bear in Mind.
And what made you come up with Bears in Mind? What was the idea, Bear in Mind?
So Bear in Mind, it was. I set up the page last May, just because I had personal experiences with in the community. There's a bit of gatekeeping that goes on. Yeah, so I set it up just because I started to see a bit of ostracization and gatekeeping in the community. So, for instance, there are a couple of feature pages out there, kind of similar to Bears in Excess, but they were a bit worse because what they had was they had these invisible rules in place. So people would submit a photo and they would say, sorry, you can't be featured on our page. You're not big enough. You don't identify into these categories which I've arbitrarily defined. And I think that's quite wrong. I think it's quite wrong to come up with rules on who can and who can't be within a community. So, for example, like the bear community, I know that the bear community, there's general characteristics on what constitutes a bear. Usually they're bearded, usually they're a bit heavier, but there's no rule on how big you should be. There's nothing saying that you're a bear once you hit 250 pounds or something like that. It's just what you identify as and the community where you find a home that's important. So that's kind of why I set up Bear in Mind. I set it up as a place for people to share their story. That's kind of like the tagline of the page. So instead of just featuring people's photos, it also has that story behind it, and people can share their stories about their mental health, about their experiences with that community. They can talk about body positivity. There's been a vast array of stories that have been told already on the page. Just from 20 stories, I think, have been uploaded.
Yeah, it's interesting because our page started originally as a bear concept, but then we started receiving pictures of how can we say no to a person? How can we say, no, you're not nice enough for us? So we start posting everybody. And ironically, our concept of bears is bears a state of mind. It's more a state of mind than really physical. Yes, it's debatable what could be, but I think we know guys that have a bear body, but in their mind they're not a bear at all. So guys, they don't have technically a bear body, but they think way more than many bears. So we think it's a mind thing.
Yeah, and there are some people out there who they can't get the same bear characteristics as other people. So there are some people who can't grow facial hair. There's some people who can't put on weight or put on muscle because of maybe medical conditions, or they're being pressured by friends or family and to look a certain way, or partners to look a certain way. And I think that the communities like the bear community, chub community, and all that should be quite open to these people. And it should be for the person themselves to define which community they go to, and not for the communities themselves to accept people.
Yes. We noticed many guys, they feel shy to submit pictures to us. It's very interesting. Sometimes in the beginning, you didn't know why. Some people just send a picture, they don't talk, because most of the times they get rejected. So they expected the worst. They think they're going to say it, they might say no, so they're not going to just say nothing. And then realize, maybe that's why I try to break the ice a little bit. Hi, how are you?
First we introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Eric. We're from Toronto, and we go from there.
Yeah, many guys are really afraid of. They say, "I hope is enough for you. If it's bad, let me know." It's very sensitive issue.
Very.
And I think that maybe comes from these other feature pages. Like, you're quite good. You accept everyone. You showcase so much body positivity, different races, different sexualities, etc. As I say, you've got these other feature pages that say, no, you don't define our criteria, and they don't even publicize what their criteria is. They wait for the person to DM them with the photo, and then they go, no, you're not. We don't want to feature you. And I just see some wording, like there's words that people put in their descriptions of their feature pages, like we only feature the best, we only feature blah blah blah. And I feel like that's quite demotivating, because if you're saying to people, we feature the best, and then they decline your photo, what they're saying is, you're not the best, you're not good enough for us. That just puts people down.
Today I had this guy, he asked, how did my picture go? Many likes? And respond, no, the likes are not important for us. The important is that your feature be featured. So if you have more or less, I'm glad now Instagram doesn't show you, because in the past people only have 80 likes, the other had 200, so I'm not good enough. And I explain, but it's so relative.
It's not a
you
contest.
can really, for many insecurities, it can be tough. It makes you look, that's not important. If you 10 like it, I think it's better that have 10 good likes than 300 that's relative. So that's why I don't like to count likes. Another thing you don't like to do is today this competition things, you vote who won this or that. We don't like to do that, because people comparing oh, so the guy is bigger, is going to get more likes than the slimmer one. You don't want to have any awkward or any competition, because that's not the point. It's about
And that's really good.
being yourself, be able to show yourself. Sometimes it's so cool to see a guy, the first picture being very shy, and then after a while he gets more and more comfortable.
And we see a lot of that happening.
Yes.
There was a guy who submitted the story, Tom. He helped me in the first few days when I was setting up the page, and he was giving me some advice. He was one of the first people to submit the stories. And in his story, I remember he was talking about that. He called it the numbers game, the social media numbers game. And it's that state of mental health where you're looking at how many likes you're getting, you're looking at how much response you're getting on certain posts, and it becomes something that can damage your mental health, because then you go, what was it about this post that didn't get as many likes as this post, and why do people not like me for this, that, or the other? And it's realizing that you're falling into that sort of trap where you're looking at all the numbers that you're getting and trying to bring yourself back out there and go, the numbers don't matter. What matters is that you're sharing what you like, you're doing it for yourself, and you feel positive about it, and you're not doing it just to get the likes, to get the attention.
You also know where you help others too, because I was telling him like 20 years ago, I'm old now, I had my pictures posted in these two Italian websites for bears. And at that time, there's no Brazilians posting anything at that time. 20 years ago is a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Considering more than 20 something. And I was so happy because I wanted to show that it was okay to be a Brazilian, a macho country kind of thing, to show myself, show my belly. And that was okay to show, because the fall was important. I guess for me now it's the same thing about, it's important to show yourself that, look, I'm like this. And people might like, people won't like it. Many guys don't like my type.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of feel comfortable and see that people are gonna like you. There's nothing to be afraid. Oh my God, I'm gonna be rejected. No, it's everybody's gonna be rejected at some point.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Very true.
Unfortunately, everyone suffered from some kind of rejection.
Yeah.
We did. So it's part of.
I think it's kind of what you do with that rejection as well. The way you come back from that, I think, is important. True. Like, as I say, when I was rejected from that page, for instance, that was when I went, more people probably feel like this, more people feel that rejection. And what if I start up this page where people can share what their experiences have been like, just with that community and with body positivity and all that. I think that's primarily where Bear in Mind spun up from. And then it's just, with the wealth of stories that have come in, there's people talking about their life experiences. They're the ones that really get me are the ones that talk about like self-harm and suicidal thoughts and things like that. That's something I've not experienced, but it's so like eye-opening to read about, and those experiences, learn from those experiences. And like I say as well, the stories that I like to see as well are the ones that come from diverse backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one anonymous guy, I think he was from Saudi Arabia, who shared his story, and he didn't share his photo or anything like that. You don't need to, for Bear in Mind. It's the story that's the important part. And just hearing his story about being gay in Saudi Arabia, that was quite important. And obviously, I think recently we had Mehdi, who used to live in Canada and attended some Bear in Excess events.
Yes.
I think I can't remember where he is now, but I think he's back in the Middle East. Just hearing his story as he goes across different cultures and his experiences, they're quite important to hear. Yes,
because that's, I think, in a way, even the testimonies or the stories they share help others to think, oh, I want to have some similar things. If he could, maybe I could too. I think it helps.
Very much.
A little thing is important, I think, because if you just live about the things about the body, forget there's the mind, there's the heart, there are other things that are important too. Not just, it can be handsome, but what else? We need.
Yeah, like some of these apps like Growler or whatever, you send a picture and it's a certain body part. I'm like, really nice, but do you have a face pic? Because the first thing I look at is the person's face. It's not like people are walking around naked on the street. So the first thing you automatically go to is the face. It's the first thing that attracts me.
But we all had a fun experience. In the past, I had just my facial picture. And once the guys start talking to me and then they see my other pictures, they see that I have a big belly, the reaction sometimes was very awkward. Sometimes I could say they got shocked, surprised. So they changed the tone and say, okay. So now I decided maybe show my belly at first. So in the profile picture, I show it. Like, if you like it, that's where I am. So there's no surprise later. Actually, it was very cool. Many people really like the approach.
No.
Yeah.
Because there's no surprise. That's it. If you were talking to me, didn't pay attention my belly at first, it will be a surprise.
Yeah, and you see things like people post sometimes screenshots of people reacting to knowing someone has a belly or something like that. And it does put you off, some of these responses that people go like, oh, you're very fat or something like that, as if it's some negative thing.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm really proud of my body and what I look like. It took me ages to build that up. Like before I came out, I wasn't happy with my body at all. But it's finding communities like the job community and other people to talk to that really helps build that up. But then it just takes that one person to make a comment and you're kind of back down. You're back down to square one again. But just making sure that you have that community to back you up. That person's opinion doesn't matter.
We had many times people messaging me on Growl or other websites about, oh, how fat you are, how disgusting, or giving me, oh, you should lose weight, or things you should do. I said, but you don't know me.
Yeah,
you can judge me. It's cool. You might have a good intention, but you don't know me. You don't know why I'm this way, or what got me here. So you can I don't message people saying, look, you should do this. No, if you are what you are, whatever, it's your thing. I don't have to preach or say, look, you should shave that. No, it's...
Yeah. Like when my parents raised me, they taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
And a little thing negative can destroy everything.
Oh, yeah.
You saw guys that asked to remove their profiles, the picture, because I guess they had one bad comment. Or, this guy, he was Asian, was Chinese, I forgot. And then he said to us to remove his thing because he started getting many bad messages because he wasn't technically a bear. And it was so sad because that wasn't the idea. Yeah. We were so happy to feature any kind, any shape, any race, because there was diversity. And seeing the guy feeling upset, that was sad. Really didn't like to see that.
Yeah, we always...
that behavior is disgusting. And because that person could have spent months and years building up to that point where they're like, right, I'm ready to share that picture. And then, as you say, just one comment or two comments or a few messages like this person got, and that's them back down.
Yeah, and if I remember, it was just a face pic. It wasn't even like he wasn't naked. It was just his face.
And that's what I mean about like some of the toxic behaviors in the community that say what is and what isn't a bear. It's not for individuals to decide that, and there's no rules about who is and who isn't a bear. That person felt they were in the bear community, so they're in the bear community.
Yes.
Yeah.
And about your stories, is any story that got more your attention? Is anything that was more surprising for you? Or how are the stories for you?
Yeah, so as I say, it's just, each and every story, I'm so grateful that people submit and they use Bear in Mind as a platform. Because as I say, I've got my story, I've posted my story on there, but hearing other people's stories about how they've experienced their own body positivity, their own mental health, their own religion, family, all these different issues that they've had in their life, and understanding what those issues are, I think it has been really beneficial. And I just really hope that others have read those stories and have taken something from them, learned something from them. As I said before, learning things about people self-harming themselves. I think one of the very first stories that were submitted to me, one person admitted to almost committing suicide. And I was crying. I think I was in the car, and it was actually quite funny. I was in like a 12-mile 12-hour car journey when I was setting up Bear in Mind. I was doing it in the back of the car. And yeah, I was reading these stories come through and I was just crying because it was such a heartwarming story and heart-wrenching in certain bits. And there's people that are talking about grief and loss, and there's just so many things that your heart goes out to the people submitting their story, and you can see it's really important for them to get that story out. And I'm just so they thank me for sharing their story, and I'm like, no, thank you for sharing your story with us. Like, I'm just here to provide that platform. I'm not here. You're the one doing the work here by sharing your story and by being brave enough to come forward with that and being vulnerable and showing that vulnerability to others.
Wow.
It's those people that are the brave ones.
And what the person should do to send you a story? What's the process?
Yeah, so I've been quite flexible. So far, most people have just submitted me DMs. So they just message me, say, hey, can I submit my story? And I say, yeah, that's fine. It's up to you how you want to do it. I'm really flexible. So some people have just sent me a few paragraphs in a DM. There've been a couple. So there's a guy called Tank and also Mehdi who have quite much longer stories that they've submitted. So when I got Mehdi's, it was an eight-page document originally. And I was thinking, right, so Instagram is limited to those 10 pictures that you can put up. And before, most of my stories were just those kind of pictures in the towels. So I said, right, how are we going to do this? What I could do is I could do a video and just get him to read the story instead. And I offered to read the story for him, but he said, no, I'm happy to read the story as well, which I think is more powerful when it comes from his own own voice. But I mean, if people wanted to submit their story but didn't feel comfortable reading it, I'm very happy to read it for them. Or, as I say, just really flexible in that. It's kind of still just experimenting. So if people are more artistic, maybe, if people prefer to do comics rather than words, because I know some people, they struggle with putting things down in word, putting things down in speech, but they're creative in other aspects. Like maybe they draw more. That's a big part of my work in my normal life, is eliciting requirements from people, and that could be either in the form of talking with people or getting them to draw or anything like that. It's knowing different styles people have. So yeah, in the future, I'm more than happy if someone wants to do their story as a comic or anything like that. That's perfectly fine as well. Just like anything that portrays their story and gets that message across that they want to portray.
Once you post on the Instagram, you edit the text they sent you, or you just put as you receive it then?
Mostly I put it as they receive it. Sometimes I maybe tidy up where there's commas or, just a couple of grammar things. But mostly it's their words. It's always their words. Like I may maybe divide it up into paragraphs so that I can easily put it into the text box.
Right.
And then just kind of format it. And that's all I do. I don't touch the words that they choose or anything like that, because I think it's important that you use the words that they're choosing and not my words.
Very true.
Yes, for sure, it's a very important service, because especially in the gay community or even bear community, so many guys with mental health things, that it's good to talk with somebody to look at, and a person doesn't feel alone, or it's just me. No, we have everybody else. More people can help. You can hear your stories. So anything else you'd like to add?
I want to talk about the Bears in Excess and just wish that you keep it up. And as I say, it's such an important thing that you're doing as well, because bear in mind to have the three pillars. We've got the body positivity, we've got the mental health, and we've got the community. And I think Bears in Excess really advocates that body positivity side of things and the community side of things, showcasing all types of bears, all types of people.
All types of people.
And quite a diverse range of people, and allowing people to share their posts with you. And you don't have any rules set against it. You don't say, no, you can't post a story because you're not this weight or that weight. That's so incredibly important. And that's what a feature page should be. So
thank you.
Well done to you guys.
I'm so happy when you started yours and thought, oh, so cool. Finally, somebody gonna deal with this side of things, not just the physical, but the mind and other aspects, which is very important. I think every page together, they can help in many ways. So like, I think it's very important, not just be just a body thing, just a number. No, there's something else.
It's important, the story behind it. Like one thing I said with Bear in Mind is I don't want it to just be a feature page. I want it to be that place where people can share their stories. The photo's not important. People can share their photos and showcase their body positivity, absolutely, because that's an important part. But where people are still not in that space and not comfortable to do so, I think it's still important that we hear their stories. Feedback I've got is Bear in Mind should showcase all stories at every single part of that story. So whether or not someone's at the beginning of their story or someone's at the end of their story and they're feeling in that better place, it's important to share the story no matter what part of the journey they're at.
Yeah, it's all about the journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is. That's why a couple of stories now, there's been a chapter 2. So some people have maybe come back a few months later and added to their story either a continuation from their first part or just talking about something completely new. And I think that's important as well, because like a story doesn't finish.
No,
not at all.
You sometimes get submissions or just message guys depressed or feeling something they want to share with us. That's why sometimes take longer to attend everything, because there's so many. It's not just the pictures, there are other things that come. And I'm always happy to talk and hear. I always suggest some guys, contact Bear in Mind.
Yeah.
I mean, nice if you talk to him, because it'd be a way to share and it'll be important. I think it's a very cool thing. So, like, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks.
Alex,
Thank you very much for featuring me.
your first ever. And hope to hear more from you. I hope I can send you my story too.
Yeah.
There's so many things doing Bear Success. I don't have time. It's so crazy.
Yeah, we only have time
Very.
on our Instagram, our own personal Instagram.
Oh no, my Instagram is
It's suffering.
so boring because I don't have a chance.
So I think I'm the opposite. I think I focus too much on my personal one, and I need to actually sit down and spend time with Bear in Mind a bit more.
Yeah, takes so much time.
It's a juggle. It's a juggle
Yes.
because you've got your own personal life too.
And
And
you're
it's just me that runs Bear in Mind at the moment, but hopefully other people can help out. And
I hope
as I say,
so.
some people have helped out with like advice on what I could do, and just in those early days getting started. So
That was our first interview. I'd like
Hope you liked it.
Yes, I'd like to thank Alex for taking some time for us. It was so sweet. It was so nice to hear his voice and talk to him. Never did that actually till now.
Yeah, and he was live in Edinburgh, Scotland,
Yes.
and we're in Toronto, Canada.
Yes, I want to do something cool the first episode, right? Yeah. So, want to know from you, what does
Body
what positivity means to you? So please write a comment and let us know. I'd like to hear what you think, what's important, if how you do deal with body positivity, if how you feel about your body, and this kind of thing. And like I said earlier, please follow us everywhere: Instagram, Bear Success, our website. I'm gonna post at the links.
Yeah, all the links are.
I know so many, you're crazy. And plus the FLUFFIES channel. Yes, that's also important.
And also,
Stay fluffy.
Kisses are stronger than your hatred. Yeah.